prayer is the seed of hope. God has heard our prayers. We can find rest. Luke 1:13. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zacharias, for your prayer is heard, and your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you shall call his name John." As we reflect on the theme of hope this week for Advent, we are reminded that we can find a restful ease to our lives when we take a hold of hope. The passage from Luke 1 gives us a beautiful picture of what happens when we pray. We find hopeful rest. Hopeful rest? Yes, we find ourselves embracing a loss of anxiety and fear when we realize that the Lord is near and He has heard our prayers. He's heard our cries and He's not ignoring us. He's listening. And that listening brings us to a calming return to hopefulness of what is to come. This weekend, I was watching The Muppets Christmas Carol with my kids as we were trying to embrace the beauty of the lessons of Christmas, both through the scriptures, but also through film. And as we watched the movie, I noticed that my eldest daughter, who is a deep feeler, seemed disrupted. I checked in with her and asked her if the movie was too much for her, as I know that the Christmas Carol is deeply reflective and at times jarring in regards to how we can and could live our lives. She indicated to me that something very early in the movie was disruptive, which strangely was not the parts I thought she would have been upset by. She was upset by two ghosts who were in chains. Something about the chains really bothered her, and she couldn't shake it. As we slowed down, and I listened to her sharing all of her thoughts and feelings about the scene, I reassured her that I was with her and that we could always talk more if she still felt disruptive. After we talked for a bit, she then said, "Dad, it's good to talk to an adult about the feelings of fear you have. I feel so much better now." As she said it, I immediately flashed to this passage and thought, that's another way of what the angel was telling Zacharias. Your prayer is heard. It's good to talk to God about it. He's here. He hears you, and He's with you. Our prayers are good ways to talk to the Lord about the feelings that we have. And in that moment, Zacharias was able to find an ease to his fears of not being heard. I wonder what kind of ease you would feel if you imagined that the Lord has heard your prayers. He's not turned His ear away. In fact, He's gazing on you lovingly, reminding you that He's with you and you can find an ease when He's near. And prayer teaches us this. He's near more than anything else. And as we are in that place of prayer with Him, we're able to keep things in our heart and our mind that say that His nearness is the best thing we could have. As one of the Christmas hymns reminds us, the hopes and fears of all the years are met in Thee tonight. As we engage this season, let us not forget that we can find hope in His presence. We can find hope in our prayers. We can find rest that we are seen and heard. And when we realize these things, we can let that seed drop down within us to prepare us for the future filled with hope.